Hello everyone, this is Tribecast episode 45, and under this nice number I will tell you everything about Tampere Startup Day. How cool is that? First, you'll hear the interview with Lakshmi, who will tell us about the first highlight of the day, the pre-event to the Startup World Cup. And then Juho, Mäkinen and Sami Vourimäki will tell us about the Startup World Cup Finland National Finals pitching competition. It's gonna be a big and exciting day. As you already heard from different kind of social media that Tribe Tampere community has, at the end of March, Tampere is hosting the amazing event of the international competition of Startup World Cup. So we are hosting the Finnish national finals. And of course, let's be honest, nobody comes to watch the pitching competition unless they compete in it or their team compete or they want to invest in a startup. Everybody's coming for the network and connections and maybe new learning from cool keynote speakers. And so the pre-event is organized, and even more, there will be a full startup day with lots of side events and stuff like that. But let's talk about pre-event. I assume that many of our listeners have heard the word Tribex, which is an event series actually. And let me remind you that last year we talked with the last year's Tribex organizer, Alexander Santos. So, new spring, new time, new decade, new learnings. Hello, Lakshmi. This year it's you who are in charge of the hopefully cool pre-event called Tribex. But first things first, let's introduce you to our listeners because you haven't been to our studio before. So, tell us about yourself.
Hello, Marina. Thank you for the warm welcome. Indeed, don't worry. Tribex is going to be super cool this year because it's the new decade. Oh, we have the new learning. Okay, first things first, introduce myself. As Marina said, my name is Lakshmi. I just graduated a month back. I'm so proud. I keep telling about it every time. Yeah, I graduated from Tampere University, Hervanta campus, and now I'm here at Tribe Tampere, taking care of the Tribex project.
For whatever reason, when I met you first, I thought that you play football. Do you play football?
Well, I used to watch football. I used to follow Liverpool. Steven Gerrard was my favorite player.
Okay. So, an engineer, a football fan, and a pre-event lead.
Indeed. I would say someone with an engineering background. I also have a minor in innovation and entrepreneurs, so I would say engineering plus business or services.
Okay. That sounds definitely like a role for someone who can construct the event both in a metaphorical way and in a very practical way.
Indeed. That's a nice way. Thank you.
Yeah, because I know that event organizing includes, for you, it includes everything from the decorations and settings to inviting speakers and arranging the topic and stuff like that. Yeah. So what's the theme or the topic of the pre-event of this year?
Okay, the theme of the pre-event this year is called Startup 2020, the new decade, the new learning. Maybe, let's say a decade back, startups were not quite common. It was very few passionate people who wanted to do something different from the usual 8 hours of job, who went about finding investors with an idea, building a team, and going big. But fast forward, 2020, startup is the new buzz. Everyone talks about startup. Everyone wants to innovate something. We have so many programs, incubator programs, accelerator, supporting these. A lot of investors, venture capitals coming forward to fund these ideas. And there's a lot of advancement in technology, helping people with comfort, saving time, safety, security, etc. But the thing is, how many of these startups are successful? So there's a huge difference between a startup and a successful startup. So this difference lies in the execution of idea. So Tribex is basically an event for learning where we get people from the startup world who have learned about this execution. It could be from their failures, success, or their experience. And we would like these people to share this to the aspiring entrepreneurs or startup founders, investors, and people who are interested in startups. So they could learn from it or maybe realize, maybe this is something I want to do, or even find, maybe this is something I want to do different. So that is the whole idea of Tribex.
Okay. Would you be also thinking that it's a good result if someone comes to Tribex and understand that, startup is not my thing?
Well, the first job when I got into this project was drafting the concept. So for that, I had some set of ideas, and then I was going about for the people involved in startup, validating those ideas. What do they want to hear? What are the problems they are facing, and where is that they are lagging? So I realized that when you go to a normal job, which is 8 hours, you do 8 hours of job and you're back. But in startup,
you have half an hour of lunch break. That's the most important.
Exactly. But I believe a startup is like nurturing a kid. It requires a lot of time, determination, dedication, patience, and above all, you should be able to handle that pressure. So maybe people can realize if they are up for that determination, patience, and handling pressure or not.
All right. So basically, you're trying to play not with the idea of doing a startup, but rather kind of how to do it, how to implement the idea.
More or less. I think it also depends on the perception, because there are a lot of thoughts delivered, and it's up to the individual what they would like to pick up. Maybe someone would like to pick up, okay, that guy is able to do a startup, why not me? So let me also do it. And somebody is like, okay, we were on the same track, but that guy did it so differently than me. So maybe that's where I have to learn. And somebody has a failure story. So somebody's like, okay, I'm not going to do those mistakes again.
All right. It's more than a month till event, so I know you're still in the organizing and a bit planning thing, but can you already tell us a few names of who can we learn from if we attend this event?
Okay. We have a speaker coming from Turku. She is from an organizational psychology background, and they're doing pretty good work with startups in Turku. And I also got recommendations from Spark Up from Turku. Her name is Mari Jokiranta. So she is part of Profounder. So they are into teams, team building, leadership, resilience, culture. The reason why I went to reach out for her is, okay, you need an idea and funding to have, initiate a startup. But above all, you need to have a good team to run it forward. How do you know if your CEO or the CTO has the same ambition level as you are? Is your whole team ready to work together, or do they have different working styles? So how do you get people together? Do you have a team for a short-term success or for a long-term success? You can never really tell if your startup can be successful in a year or two, but are they willing to wait for it? There are so many factors for this team. So I'm having Mari Jokiranta talk about it. And next, we are looking towards Kasper Suomalainen to be part of our panel discussions with investors, because we want to provide an insight towards investment funding, what are the future trends, what is the X factor that attracts the investment. And also I was reading an article recently. It said the investors not only look just for the idea, there are also a lot of legal procedures and other steps which the startup has to do. They call it as keeping your house clean before you invite the guest, that's the investor. And also we have all the VCs in Helsinki. So how do startups who are not in the capital attract them? So this is something we would like to highlight in the panel discussion. And I think Kasper Suomalainen, for now, I'm hoping he would join us.
All right. Maybe you can give a shout out. Is there someone special who you would like to have on the speaker stage or panel discussion who you haven't maybe talked to, but maybe he or she is listening?
Okay, I would be very interested to have Ilkka Pannanen from Supercell. I've heard his speeches. They are quite inspirational. And also I like his journey, because when he started working, the company he joined, they were not willing to pay him salary, but they wanted somebody to take care of his company, and he knew what he wanted to do. So he was willing to join and take that risk. And now Supercell is one of the unicorns in Finland. So,
all right. So hopefully he hears us, or maybe someone who is in his network hears us.
Okay. If somebody in the network of Ilkka Pannanen hears, please do convey my regards to him. I've also written an email to him. Please do ask him to reply to me. And
basically, as we can understand, he was a volunteer. Speaking of volunteering and team, what kind of team helps you? Do you have a batch of volunteers who supports you in this event? Do you have a group? How does it work from the inside?
So I am working in collaboration with the Startup World Cup team, and they are looking out for volunteers. We still have registration open for volunteers. Anyone interested to volunteer, make connection, and also learn how things go around in the Tampere ecosystem, please feel free to register. You can find the volunteering form on the Startup World Cup Finland webpage. So yeah, as I said, this Startup World Cup team, Ilya, is taking care of the volunteers. So we are almost having the same team because the Tribex starts at 3 p.m. And the Startup World Cup starts at 6 o'clock. So we are able to divide the volunteers.
So you basically gently transfer from one event to another. Maybe it's
more or less a smooth transition.
Right. Maybe it will be a good time to explain a bit more about the inside event schedule and also tell our listeners the place and the date. Remind them, of course.
Okay. The overall concept is that we are having the Startup Day on March 25th in Tampere. So it starts with Tampere ES brunch at Tribe Tampere at 9:30. Then Business Tampere has some mentoring sessions for the startups at different locations. I'm sure Business Tampere will give you more information about it. And at the same time, we are having a special event for students to give information about startup and entrepreneurship. I think Y Campus and Tampere ES will update more details on this. They are also in the process of planning. And at 3 o'clock, at 3 p.m., we have the Tribex pre-event. It is in the Pakkuhuone, which is right next to Tulantori Shopping Center. So the doors for the pre-event open at 3 p.m. and then we have the event kickoff at 3:15 and then it goes until 5 p.m. and then we have 1 hour of networking and dinner, after which at 6 we start with the Startup World Cup finals. We also have the host decided for our pre-event, Julia. Of course, I'm sure everyone knows Julia, so she's our host for pre-event.
All right, that's great. Will be good to see her on stage again. And I heard that those who will survive from 3 to 5 will also have a possibility to join the dinner, so you can eat and talk to other people simultaneously.
Exactly. So first here, then refill, recharge, and then go here again.
Okay, probably one thing. I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you. How much are the tickets?
Okay, this is a very important question. I'm glad you asked that. So the previous Tribex event has been charged, but this year we are making it free for everyone. So there is no tickets for the pre-event that have paid. So everyone can join for free, but you have to register. The registration form is available on the Tribex page. If you go to Tribe Tampere webpage, and you would see Tribex right there. Or you can even go to the Startup World Cup Finland website and you would see the registration form there. You have the opportunity to register only for the pre-event or only for the Startup World Cup Finland or register together for both. So it's a quite easy option. You can figure it out.
Okay, thank you very much, Lakshmi. Now we have all the information about the pre-event, and hopefully a bit later today we'll hear also the interview with the Startup World Cup actual competition organizers. The Finnish part of the competitions, not our Silicon Viking partners. Maybe one day they'll join us for the podcast as well. We'll see about that. Anyways, thank you very much for the interview. I wish you all the luck with the event.
Thank you, Marina, for the opportunity to talk to you and our listeners. So for all the listeners over here, please register for Tribex pre-event. It's Startup 2020, the new decade, the new learning. And also spread this word among your friends, colleagues, and other enthusiastic people. Hope to see you all on March 25th at Pakkuhuone.
And we continue this episode of Tribecast, and this week it will be a special episode all talking about the big event we're hosting in Tampere 25th of March this year. You have just heard Lakshmi, the organizer of the pre-event to the Startup World Cup, and now I can hear the drums because now we have the actual Startup World Cup Finland National Finals organizing team in our studio. And of course, the team is big, the event is big, so we have 2 guests today. Hello, Juho. Hello, Sami. Thank you very much for having time in your busy schedules for talking to me today. Let's probably start with introducing you to our listeners. So let's start from the person who is first time in our studio, because Juho has already been there. For our listeners, I'd like to remind that Juho Mäkinen has been giving us an interview about what Tampere is in the first season of Tribecast. Yeah, let's start with the newbies. Hello, Sami. Could you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah. Hey, thank you for asking me here. I'm Sami Vourimäki, and I'm part of core team of Startup World Cup Finland 2020. A little bit about me. I have been now studied in University of